The first time she mentioned the prenup, she smiled. Not the kind of smile that warns you. Not the kind that hides something. No, it was warm, soft, reassuring. The kind that makes you feel safe enough to stop asking questions. I just want to protect you. That's what she said. We were sitting in a quiet corner of a luxury cafe in Karachi. Sunlight reflecting off the glass walls, everything around us calm. Expensive. Perfect. Just like her. She slid the folder across the table. Simple. Clean. Elegant. A prenup? I asked, raising an eyebrow. She nodded gently, reaching for my hand. Not like that. She said softly, "It's not to protect me. It's to protect you." I laughed. Actually laughed. From what? You planning to cheat on me or something? She didn't laugh back. Instead, she squeezed my hand tighter. "If anything ever goes wrong," she said, her voice lower now, "I don't want you to lose everything." That should have been the moment. The moment I paused. The moment I questioned it. But I didn't, because I loved her. And when you love someone, you don't look for traps. You look for reasons to trust. Her name was Elena. Beautiful. Calm. Intelligent in a way that made you feel like she was always 3 steps ahead. But never in a threatening way. At least, that's what I believed. I already have lawyers look at everything, she continued. It's simple, fair, just signatures. Simple, fair, just signatures. Funny how the biggest mistakes in life always sound that easy. I opened the file. Pages of legal language. Terms. Clauses. Words that felt heavier than they looked. "You don't have to read all of it now," she said quickly, almost too quickly. "We can go through it together later." But I nodded anyway. "I trust you." That was it. That one sentence. The moment everything was decided, without me even realizing it. She smiled again. That same warm smile. "Thank you," she whispered. And for a second, just a second, something felt off. Not wrong. Not dangerous. Just off. Like a puzzle piece that almost fits. But I ignored it. Because love does that. It convinces you that discomfort is just fear. That doubt is just insecurity. And that trust should never be questioned. Days passed. Wedding preparations started. Everything moved fast. Too fast. Venus. Guests. Luxury arrangements I didn't question. Because she handled everything. She always did. And every time I tried to get involved, she'd smile and say, "I've got it." And there. 'Cause that's what love was. Letting go. Trusting completely. Not realizing that sometimes the person you trust the most is the one writing the rules you never read. The night before the signing, I found the file again, sitting on the table, waiting, silent. And this, Jimmy, I didn't open it because something inside me whispered, "If you read it, everything might change." So I did then. And that was my biggest mistake. Because the next day, would sign. And the moment my name touched that paper, my life would stop being mine. The pen felt heavier than it should have. Not physically, but mentally. It weighed like a decision I didn't fully understand. "Go ahead," Elena said softly, her voice calm, reassuring, almost too perfect. We were sitting in a private office inside a towering building in Karachi, surrounded by glass walls and silent, expensive furniture. Everything about the place screamed power. Control. Her lawyer stood across from us, silent, watching. I glanced down at the document one last time. Pages of words I didn't read. Clauses I didn't question. A future I assumed was safe. "You trust me, right?" she asked again. I looked up at her. Same smile. Same warmth. Same eyes. But something about them felt distant today. "Is you? How? Then I signed. The moment the pen touched paper, something shifted. Not outside. Everything around us stayed the same. Inside me. It felt like a door quietly closed. "Perfect," her lawyer said, collecting the documents almost instantly. "Totally." Like he'd been waiting for that exact second. Elena leaned closer, placing a gentle kiss on my cheek. "I told you," she whispered. "Everything will be fine." I smiled, but for the first time, it didn't feel real. The wedding was only days away. Everything moved faster now. Calls. Arrangements. Luxury beyond anything I had imagined. But something changed in Elena. Subtle. Almost invisible. She stopped asking for my opinions. Not in a rude way. Not in an obvious way. She just didn't need them anymore. "I've handled it," became her favorite sentence. At first, I thought she was just stressed. Busy. Focused on the wedding. But then, little things started happening. My access to certain accounts suddenly disappeared. "Temporary issue," she said. "Some of my personal investments transferred. Just restructuring," she explained. "Even the apartment lease, which was originally under my name, was suddenly updated. Her name first. Mini Sakan." Each time I questioned it, she had an answer. Smooth. Prepared. Effortless. And every answer ended the same way. "Tree." That phrase again. But now, it didn't feel comforting. It felt like a command. The first real crack appeared 3 days later. I went to the bank. Simple reason. I needed to check something. But when I tried to access my account, the manager hesitated. "Sir, there have been changes." My chest tightened. "What kind of changes?" He looked uncomfortable. Careful. Like he was choosing every word. "Authorization changes. Linked accounts. Joint control." Joint control? With who? I asked, already knowing the answer. But I still needed to hear it. He swallowed. Miss Elena. Silence. Heavy. Loud. "That's not possible," I said. "My account is private." He nodded slowly. It was. That single word hit harder than anything else. I left the bank without saying another word. My mind racing. Heart pounding. Something was wrong, not slightly wrong. Completely wrong, that night. I went back to the prenup, the same file. The same that this Jimmy. I opened it, and this time, I read, line by line, every clause, every condition, every hidden trap. My hands started shaking. because buried deep inside, in language designed to confuse, was the truth. Everything I owned, everything I earned, everything I would ever build after marriage would be under shared control, but not equal control. Her control. The prenup didn't protect me. It bound me, legally, completely, and the worst part, I had signed it willingly. I sat there in silence. The room felt smaller, the air heavier, and for the first time, I realized something terrifying. Elena didn't need to trap me, because I had already walked in and locked the door myself. I didn't confront her. Not immediately. That was the first decision I made after discovering the truth. Not anger. Not revenge. Control. Because, for the first time since signing that contract, I understood the game. And more importantly, I understood her. Elena wasn't emotional. She was strategic. Every smile, reward ye, every trust me. It was never about love. It was about positioning, and I had been the easiest move on her board. But not anymore. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. Calm, focused. When Elena walked into the room, she paused slightly. Maybe she expected tension, questions, argument. Instead, I smiled. Good morning, I said casually. For a split second, saw a confusion, but it vanished just as quickly. Good morning, she replied, studying me carefully. I was thinking. I continued, stretching like nothing had changed. Maybe you're right. Her eyes narrowed slightly. About what? Letting you handle everything. Silence. That sentence was exactly what she wanted to hear, and I gave it to her. Of course, she said smoothly, a small satisfied smile appearing. It's better this way. That. Yeah, I said quietly. Is. From that moment on, I played the role perfectly. The trusting fiancé, the supportive partner, the man who had no idea what was happening. But behind that mask, I started watching. Carefully. Patterns, movements, connections, and slowly, the picture became clearer. Late-night calls, locked doors, private meetings she never mentioned, and one name that kept appearing again and again. Adrian. At first, I thought it was business, but something about it felt different. Dauphin. Call it. Doheathan. So I followed the only rule that mattered now. Don't react. Observe. 3 days later, I got my answer. I wasn't supposed to be there. But sometimes, truth reveals itself when you step into places you're not invited to. The hotel was expensive. Private. The kind of place where secrets felt safe. I saw her before she saw me. Standing near the entrance. Talking to a man. Laughing. Not the polite laugh she used with me. This one was real. Effortless. And when he reached out, she didn't step back. She leaned closer. Like she belonged there. Like she had always belonged there. I didn't move. Didn't speak. Just watched. Because now, everything made sense. The prenup. The control. The sudden changes. This wasn't just about power. It was about planning. And the was just part of it. A piece. a temporary role, until something better, or someone better, was secured. Adrian. I finally understood who he was. Not just a name, not just a colleague. He was the real future she was building, and I was the bridge she needed to cross to get there. I left before she could see me, quietly, because confrontation would only warn her, and I wasn't ready to end the game. Not yet. That night, she came home late, like nothing had happened. "Busy day," she said, placing her bag down. I looked up from my phone and smiled. Semity. She studied me again. Still searching. It's you, her. But she found nothing, because I gave her nothing. And for the first time, I saw something new in her eyes. Not control, not confidence, but a flicker of doubt. Small, almost invisible. But hey-oh. And that's when I knew the game had changed. Because she thought she was controlling everything, but she had no idea. I had already started planning my next move. I didn't rush. That was the difference between us. Elena built her plans on control. I built mine on patience. And patience is what turns a mistake into a downfall. 3 days after the hotel incident, I stopped reacting completely. No questions, tension, suspicion, silence, and cooperation. If she wanted control, I gave her more. Should I transfer the funds? I asked one evening. She didn't even hesitate. Yeah, I'll handle the rest. Of course you will, I thought. This Jimmy. I made sure I handled something too. Loudly. Not obviously. Quietly. I started meeting people she didn't know existed in my life. Old contacts. Trusted ones. People who understood one simple rule. Loyalty over money. Because what Elena didn't realize was that she wasn't the only one who knew how to build power. I just chose not to use it before. But now, I had a reason and a deadline. Wedding. 1 week away. The perfect stage. Because Elena loved appearances. Perfection. Control. So I decided I'd give her the perfect ending, just not the one she expected. 2 days later, I confirmed everything. Adrian wasn't just involved. He was waiting. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for Elena to finish what she started. Earn. Replace. Clean. Simple. Efficient. It almost impressed me. Almost. That night, I sat across from Elena as she reviewed guest lists. Everything's perfect, she said. I smiled. Yeah, I replied softly. It really is. She looked up at me again. Still searching. Is you unsure? That doubt in her eyes. It hadn't disappeared. He had grown. Are you okay? She asked suddenly. For a moment. Just a moment. I considered telling her everything. About the hotel. About Adrian. About the contract. But then I remembered something important. She never gave me the truth. So I didn't owe her mine. I'm more than okay, I said calmly. And this, Jimmy. She didn't look convinced. Zed. Because doubt is dangerous. Especially when you don't know where it is coming from. The next morning, I made the final move. I transferred everything. exactly how she wanted, exactly where she expected, and exactly when she needed it. On the surface, it looked like I had given her complete control, but underneath, everything had changed. Because the moment that transfer went through, another system activated, one she didn't know about, one she couldn't see, one that would only reveal itself at the right time. The wedding day. The stage was set. The guests would come. The smiles would shine. The vows would be spoken. And Elena would believe. She had won. But victories built on lies. Alas. That night, she stood by the balcony, looking out at the city. For once, she looked uneasy. Something feels off, she said quietly. I walked up beside her, close enough to feel familiar, far enough to mean nothing. That's just nerves, I replied. She turned to look at me, and for the first time, I saw it clearly. Not control, not confidence, fear. Small, uncertain, but here. And I realized something important in that moment. Elena wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of losing control. And fear was exactly what I needed. Because tomorrow, everything she built was going to collapse. Right in front of everyone. And this, Jimmy, I wouldn't be the one left behind. The venue looked perfect. Houses, crystal lights, soft music drifting through the air like nothing in the world could go wrong. Exactly how Elena wanted it. Guests filled the hall, whispering admiration. She's stunning. There's such a perfect couple. I stood at the altar. Calm. It's you. Unshaken. Because I knew something they didn't. This wasn't a wedding. It was an ending. And a beginning. The doors opened. Elena stepped in. Wearing white. Radiant. Confident. Like she had already won. Her eyes met mine. And for a moment, that flicker returned. That small, quiet doubt. But she smiled anyway. Because control was her armor. And she wore it well. Steppy by steppy. She walked toward me. The music slowed. The guests held their breath. Everything was exactly where it needed to be. Right on schedule. She reached the altar. Ready? She whispered softly. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Not the version she showed the world, but the one behind it. The one who lied. Manipulated. Planned. And underestimated me. I've been ready, I replied. The ceremony began. Words about love. Trust. Forever. Beautiful lies dressed as promises. Elena didn't flinch. Not even once. Because she believed. This was still her game. And she was still in control. Then, was Jimmy? The priest smiled. Do you take? Wait. My voice cut through the room. Soft. Calm. But sharp enough to stop everything. The music faded. The whispers returned. Elena turned to me. Confusion. Then, something deeper. Fear. What are you doing? She whispered. I didn't answer her. Instead, I turned slightly toward the screen behind us. Another. The lights dimmed. A video appeared. At first, no one understood. Then, thou, the conversation, Elena, Adrian, Gliach, undeniable. Her voice echoed through the hall. Once the transfer is done, he's ouchie. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Elena froze. No, this isn't. But it was. And everyone knew it. The perfect image she built. Cracked. Then shattered. She turned to me. Desperate now. You set me up. I finally spoke. No, I said quietly. You set yourself up. Her breath trembled. This wasn't supposed to. Work. I finished. She said nothing, because there was nothing left to say. The guests watched, not with admiration anymore, but judgment and disbelief. Adrian! Gone! Of course he was. People like him don't stay when things collapse. They disappear, just like he did. Elena reached for me. Not with control this time, but desperation. Please, we can fix this. I stepped back, and for the first time, there was distance between us that couldn't be closed. There's nothing to fix, I said. Her eyes filled, not love, with lust. Not of me, but of everything she thought she owned. The power, the control, the victory, all gone in a single moment. I took off the ring, the same one she thought would bind me, and placed it gently on the altar. Not thrown, not forced, just returned, like something that never belonged to me. I hope it was worth it, I said. Then I turned and walked away. Hesitation, no looking back, because this time I wasn't the one being left behind. Outside, the air felt different, lighter, free. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't part of her story anymore. I was writing my own, and somewhere behind me, inside that perfect, broken wedding, Elena finally understood something she never had before. Not everything can be controlled, and not everyone stays, just because you expect them to.